Hello guys, Jerry speaking. Welcome to Bedtime Stories, episode number 157. And today I read you a little golden book about our current president of the United States, Joe Biden. And it's by Shane Lee Corey, illustrated by Lauren Gales. How to pronounce his last name. Her last name. So let's read it now, shall we? So we got. It was a Golden Book New York release, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. Anyway, see here in this book, and it's current president of the United States of Joe Biden in the book. And he's interested in baseball and everything, so here we go. Yep, I have the degree of you right there. Joe Biden is the 46th president of the United States of America. Joe was born in Stratton, Pennsylvania in 1942, okay? He was in his friends played baseball and football, okay? Watch David and Billy, just be you. Anyway, they rode bikes and went into movies, okay? Joe was a natural leader and was always up for the challenge. He climbed flagpoles and swung high on ropes. Joe knew how he could do big things. I have a degree. Back then he was vice president of the United States, and very soon he was president of the United States, big time. Next page. Anyway, Joe's family was Catholic. On Sundays, they went to church. Okay, they go back to Joe's grandpa's house. And they talk about news and politics. I was a huge fan of that since the Jim Lair days. Okay, listen to his family and the nuns and at school. Wow. Joe learned how important it was to treat all people with dignity and respect. Exactly. Anyway, I learned no one was better than me, but I was no better than anyone else. Exactly. Because I was a huge fan of Robin and Jim when I was little, because at the time, inspired by these two men growing up, because I was making sure I could make films and TV shows over the years. And it made me feel like entertaining you guys, you know? Just want to make sure you are great and all that. And Robin and Jim documentaries made me feel like entertaining you all. Is what I'm saying. Next page. Anyway, when Joe was 10, his family moved to Delaware. Sometimes some things like sports came easily to Joe. Exactly. But other things like reading out loud in class were harder. At the time, yes, I am a reader person. Out loud person. For the audience to see. So anyway. Joe had started to make them somewhat over his words. Yeah, I have to agree with that, you know. Sometimes kids made fun of him. I felt worried for Joe, our current president of the United States in the moment. It's not even funny, jeez. Sometimes even grown-ups make fun of him. Don't you just wish you were making fun of him and then all of a sudden you make a joke about him? That's not funny, guys. It's not even funny, jeez. Next page. Anyway, Joe's father told him and that it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. Okay? What matters is that you get back up. So whenever Joe stumbled, he makes sure to get back up and keep trying. Exactly. Anyway, Joe memorized paragraphs he would have to read out loud in class. He practiced in the mirror, taking out front and talking out front, and the people's wasn't easy. But Joe kept working on it. Exactly, because at the time, yes, you had to be at least 30 years old. As I mentioned it to in Miss Green's class when CNN student news is so boring. Back then, it wasn't boring. It was boring to me, But now was it boring? CNN Stewart News, now it's called CNN 10, was now boring to me nowadays. Was boring. I don't know about I don't know much about cars. It was back then. So, but PBS NewsHour nowadays is good. So there you go. Next page. Anyway, Joe dreamed of going to the fancy college high school. Wow. Okay. But his parents couldn't afford it. He spent the summer before his freshman year working in school to help pay his tuition. He washed windows and painted fences and weeded the garden. And when school started, Joe took his place with other students. Students were required to go give a speech at the big assembly. Joe was told that he didn't have to because he just stutter. But he didn't want to be treated differently. But he kept practicing and practicing. But in his sophomore year, he gave a speech. It was one of Joe's proudest moments. Exactly. You gotta do something, Mr. Biden. Now it's getting close to be Mr. President. Nearly 70 years later. Next page. Anyway, as Joe grew up, he became more and more interested in politics. Exactly, because I'm a huge fan of PBS NewsHour. You know, that's just me. Because NewsHour, to me, is my thing, you know. When I grew up in the PBS, you know, as a kid. Because kids paying, as he grew older, I watched the news when I was 5 years old. So there you go. He went to college and studied politics and history. So he went to the law school. Joe and the leaders, the Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, which I will take you to that in a moment. But anyway, John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated in November 1963, who were fined for change. Okay, he remembered the talks about his grandfather's table. He believed that politics could make the people's lives better. And he wanted to help. Exactly, Mr. Biden. You know, just to have the fact that the president is more better than that. You know, that's just me, of course. Sooner or later, we're going to have 50 presidents in the United States. Can we do it? Let's find out for ourselves. Sometime when I'm alive. Even then. Anyway, when Joe was 29 years old, he decided to run for the United States Senate. Wow. There are just 100 senators, 2 of each state. Okay? And their job was to help make laws. Joe's sister was his campaign manager. Wow. Joe was married now, and his wife and the rest of his family help. Okay, as well. Joe had to speak to people over Delaware to ask for the vote. It wasn't easy, but it was but he was starting to like public speaking. Joe won the election and became one of the youngest people ever elected to the Senate. At the time, yes, he was elected to be president of the United States. You know, back then it was President Biden in the Senate. Now it was President of the United States in America, Joe Biden. You know, 46th President of the United States. That's just me, of course. Next page. Anyway, Joe still have a struggle in his life. Okay? His wife and their baby daughter died in a car accident. Wow. Okay? Sometimes he was sad. Sometimes he get angry. But no matter how hard things were, Joe managed to get back and to keep going. Joe's leader in the Senate. He eventually fell in love and got married again. His wife Jill was a teacher. Every day Joe took a train from Washington, D.C. back home to his family. In Delaware. Joe served as Delaware Senator for 36 years, the longest in Delaware's history. Wow. Makes sense in any way. You have to do something, Mr. President. So there you go on that. And here's the next page of the book, where in 2008, Barack Obama asked Joe to be his vice president. Exactly. Joe said yes. For 8 years, Joe was Obama's vice president. And his friend, yeah, exactly, Mr. President Barack Obama, from 8 years. I went to Washington, D.C. in 2013, and it was great fun for me to go. President Obama trusted him. Joe traveled all over the world representing the United States. He worked on to bring American troops home to overseas. He helped create jobs. President Obama called Joe to the bestest vice president America ever had and awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Exactly, Mr. Obama. And I want to thank you for that. That's just me, of course. It was great to see Obama with our own arms, to Joe Biden, It was great and all, but that's just me, of course. And here comes we got 5 more pages left. Anyway, Joe Biden wasn't done facing big challenges. In 2019, he decided to run for president of the United States. And due to COVID, yes, I have to see what's been going on here. And that's a good thing in mentioning that. Joe chose Kamala Harris, a senator from California, to be his vice president. Now, at the time, yes, I'll talk about that in the Bedtime Stories episode, next episode. Anyway, but it was great to see Kamala Harris being the next vice president. And 49, this will be the 50th next time around by the time you see the next vice president. Anyway, there had never been a female or black or Asian vice president ever before in her life. Yeah, I have not seen a female president ever in my life either. Joe knew that he and Kamala could do big things and help make Americans' lives better. Exactly, Biden. And Dad, if you're watching this, I have no idea what to do with you. Because I have no idea what to say here. This is a better application than America's. And Trump won it, these past 2016 to 2020 years. I just thought it was a bad idea for both bits and pieces. And due to COVID happening, it was bad, But this massive state war, it was terrifying for Trump and Pence to do other things like this. Biden Harris deserve this, and they need to deserve this. Next page. Anyway, on Election Day 2020, Americans went to polls to make their voices heard. There was a new virus in the world, which is, by the way, when I talk about this in the documentaries of elections such past videos, I just said, I just like to say, when COVID hit us, Julie Woodruff said this statement, speech, and then saying, and that's news for tonight. I'm Julie Woodruff. Please stay safe this weekend. Thank you. Good night. And then after all this speech happened, personal message thing, I'm just gonna. I felt like feeling like emotional. I don't know what to say here. Yeah. I was like freaking out. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and I wasn't know what it is. Anyway, I was freaked out, saying we're gonna do what the hell we're gonna do. And June the 1st came. I went to see Travis and everybody at work again, and I didn't know what it was in the time. I was telling them freaked out and things like that. COVID-19 hit us, and I don't know what to do next. I was wearing my mask, things like that. That's just me, of course. So that was terrifying. 2 years of my life, period. From Morrison to Reed. But anyway, okay. For me, voted by mail, and when the votes were counted, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won. Okay? That's good enough. Anyway, they got 81 million votes, my mom and my stepdad not included, okay? More than any presidential candidate have ever gotten before. Wow, okay. On January 20, 2021, Joe Biden became the 46th president of the United States. He stood proudly and spoke the entire country. Wow. Now, the Trump impeachment trial in 2020, those days before my inspiration Jim passed away, it was shocking to me. It was also shocking me about what's going on with the trial and the court residence of Trump. It makes me speechless, you know. I don't know what to say next. The politics, you know. He talked over the values of his family. He taught them, and like Disney and Dynasty, that he taught could help anyone. Okay, that he asked Americans to work together. Exactly. The American story depends not on any one of us, but on all of us. He said, "We can do great things." Thank you, Mr. Biden. Thank you. You gotta do something. And here's the last page of the book. Joe Biden is part of the American story. Exactly. He always been, and even as a kid, playing ball and riding his bike. Well, we are all part of the American story. And we can do big things. Great things as well. Just like Joe. And that is part of our story for Joe Biden's presidency history, you know. By playing ball and things like that, it was a great idea. You know, that's just me, of course. So that was biography about Joe Biden. What did I think about this book? It was amazing. I really love the book. My stepdad disagrees about this. You know, I really think that one day that even though I agree stuff, but my stepdad disagrees on me on this one. The hope that one day that Joe Biden wins second election parts, we're gonna do something. That's all just me. And that was the Bedtime Stories, episode number 157. Hope you enjoy it. Excuse me. Stay tuned for the next one. It's going to be another book regarding the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Now, excuse me, I got to get ready for bed and get ready to go work, get ready to do extra work the next day and things like that. That's just me, of course. Until next time, Sue Jarvis and buy a piece of paper. We can move this soon. Till then, out. See ya.